afternoon and welcome back as I share another part in the series Crazy Mistakes Young People Make and How to Avoid Them. If you weren't here before, I've already covered 3 parts. Part 1 was not being yourself. Part 2, not taking care of the mind and body. Number 3, not listening to authoritative figures. Today, in part 4, I'm going to get a little serious. And I want to talk about a crazy mistake that young people make by not using the brain to think, but thinking using other feasibilities, other areas of the body, to put it in a different sense. Okay? We know that young people like to have fun. They want to spend time with their friends and significant others and do different things. And all of that is okay. Sometimes they get into situations, been there, done that, where we're not really thinking with the head, but we begin to think with other areas of the body, and we can get ourselves into a little trouble. Being a single mom, raising 2 young males, I made up in my mind that I had to be very candid with them. And I read a book, Difficult Conversations. I read it for work. However, there are all types of different conversations. You have different conversations in business, but there are different conversations that you have to have with other family members, friends, but most importantly with your children. Because again, if you were here and heard our last series about listening to authoritative figures, the reason why that's important is because you've been there, you've done that, and you don't want to see your children or those that you are mentoring or teaching make the same mistakes that you made when you didn't have the experience or the education. So you share and have candid conversations with your young males because you want them to have fun, enjoy themselves with their friends and significant others, but to be very, very careful when they go into those areas where they're not thinking with the brain. Because we know what can happen in those situations. They can come up with diseases that are not easily curable. And this is where babies out of wedlock come from. Now we all know, or should all believe what I believe, that God doesn't make mistakes. And He creates each and every one. But sometimes there are things that you can avoid. Most times. 99.9% of the time, there are things that you can avoid if you stop and think about it. If you have it in your memory bank where someone has talked to you and you understand some of the consequences. Because there are some things that you can catch that can be taken care of with medication. There are others that are very, very serious, and although medication may help, it is something that you may have for the rest of your life. As well, if you're a young high school male or in your early college years, you should have a pretty good grasp of where you want to go in life. You may be a basketball player, football player, doing very well. You've been drafted to a college and you're looking at a pro career. Well, remember, whatever you do today goes with you for the rest of your life. So let's say you make a mistake and you have a child, then some things are going to change. You may have to drop out of school. So where you have maybe have received a scholarship, there are other expenses that you have. And then if you have a child on the way, then you need to take care of that child. That is the only right thing to do. In order to do that, do you have to drop out of college or high school? That's a thought, isn't it? Because you could get a part-time job, but are you able to take care of that child? And then, let's say that you do get into the pros where you have money. But let's think about it. The more money you make, the more you're going to have to pay in child support. So all of those things you need to have in your bank up here, that when you're out having fun and doing those things you like to do, what are the consequences? Because you want to try to avoid them at all costs. And I'm not being an old fuddy-duddy, don't want you to have fun. I do. But fun can have a good limit. So you can have fun, have the best time. But in that same instance, you're thinking, I need to think with my brain. What am I doing that may impact the rest of my life in a negative way? So a child is not necessarily negative, but if you're not going to decide that you want to marry that child's mom, and if it's a boy, of course they're going to want to name that child after you. So if you don't spend the rest of your life with that particular young lady, then when you marry, whoops, that name's taken. So there are a lot of things that you need to take care of. And I know this is probably a conversation that a lot of parents you find difficult, but it's something you have to do. And I set my boys down. There's a large gap in their ages, but I set them down during their most important times, and I just told them the facts. This is what you don't need to do, but if you decide to do this, this is what you need to do. And it doesn't matter what the young lady is doing to be on the safe side. You need to take that extra step to make sure that you are covered, that you don't make a crazy mistake that you're going to have to live with from that day all the way to the end of your life. So again, it is important to have fun when you're in high school, college, to enjoy yourself, have fun, spend time with your friends, your significant others. You're going to do what you're going to do. But always remember, slow down. No means no. Stop and think with this before you make the next step. Again, this was part 4 of crazy mistakes young people make and how to avoid them. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have questions or comments, please share, and I will try to address them. If not in part 5, after I complete part 5, then I will address your questions. Thank you. I hope this has helped. And parents, please remember, difficult conversations are difficult, but they are necessary. Thank you. I look forward to you hearing part 5 in this series. Have a wonderful day.